Hi, my name is Pat Vintage. I'm a transformation life coach. And what that means is I help people to, transform their lives. Well, that's kind of vague, isn't it? So, what does that mean? Well, have you ever felt stuck? Have you ever felt like you're headed down this path and maybe you've gotten quite a ways down the path and you decide, I'm not sure I want to go this direction? Have you ever try to take your life to, sort of another level, and you keep feeling like you hit this ceiling or hit this wall, and you're it's sort of a one step forward, two steps back kind of thing. Or maybe you're dealing with some challenges. Maybe it's a relationship, maybe it's a health issue, maybe it's your job, maybe you're dealing with depression. Well, as a transformation coach, what I do is I help people to make change, whatever that change happens to be for them. I help them to create change in their lives and to basically create what I call a soulful life. Soulful life for me is a life that's lived from the perspective with the focus of your soul. Now you say, well, I don't even know if I have a soul. Well, okay, your heart, same thing. As far as I'm concerned, it's the same thing. It is who you are. It is who you are. So live from that perspective. Quit living a life that is externally focused and start living from your heart. That's a soulful life. That's what I call a soulful life, is when you begin to live from your heart, from your soul, from your core being, who you are. When you create a soulful life, you create a life that feels balanced, feels in harmony with life in general. You feel in harmony with life in general. So if you feel stuck, if you feel like you're kind of moving in a direction that you want to make a change, but you're not sure how, then don't feel alone, because a lot of people have been there. I've been there. I've been there. I dealt with a 2 decades long depression. 2 decades. Um, Started down that path when I was just a 7-year-old boy who lost his mom. My mom passed away, a brain tumor, at 30 years of age, and today is her birthday. She'd be 75 today. Happy birthday. Um, and the way I dealt with that loss is by throwing up walls. I thought if I could shield myself from that pain, I'd feel better. And I did. It worked a little bit. Problem is, at 7 years of age, I didn't realize that that was not exactly the best way to deal with all your challenges in life. And nobody told me to do it different. So by using that wall to shield myself when things weren't going my way, I gradually drove myself down into a depression. You know, I avoided thinking about things by doing stuff, but eventually I lost interest in doing stuff. And pretty soon I found myself in a place that I lost interest in living. I didn't want to be around it anymore. Felt like my family would be better off if I wasn't. Pretty dark place. I'd tried, the antidepressants and going to counselors, and I've been to a few, and none of that stuff worked for me. None of that stuff. I had to hit bottom. I did. And I did hit bottom, and I wanted to end my life, and fortunately, that didn't happen. And in that moment, I saw my kids' faces, and they brought me back to life. They really did. And I just went, "What are you doing, Pat?" Remember, I was 7 when my mom died. My daughter was 7, when I'd reached that point. I was repeating history. I was going to extend this cycle again. But my kids saved me. I decided that I wanted to live. I didn't know how I was going to do it, but I knew that I needed to live. So I climbed back into life, and and I struggled. Went through a divorce. I struggled. I struggled, and but gradually I kept going. I just kept going, and pretty soon things started to get a little bit better, and a little bit better, and a little bit better, and lo and behold, 6 years later, I was happy. I was living a good life. I was happy, and I still am. I'm amazed at how fabulous my life is. I'm just wonderful, wonderful people in my life. My kids are fabulous. I'm so blessed. They're just fabulous, and it through that 6 years, it was tough. Most of that time, but the last couple of years, I was getting out of that darkness and into the light much more. And now, over the last 5 years, I've realized that, this stuff that I went through, the stuff that I learned from going through it, that's valuable stuff. That's great stuff. I wish somebody would have given me some of that insight. And what I realized, I've talked with dozens of people who have gone through different sorts of transformation, different sorts of changes in their life. And they describe, how they went through that, what the process was like for them. And I've identified 7 steps that are universal. I identified them in my process, and then as I was talking to other people, it was just confirmed that they all went through they might have called them different things, but they went through all of these steps. Now maybe they hadn't gotten through all of them yet, but they were going through those steps in that order. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And so I said, this is confirmation. I know this process works. It is a process for healing anything in your life. It's a process for changing whatever you want to change. And it works. Guaranteed. You can create a soulful life. You can create your soulful life and have wonderful relationships. I have one of the most amazing relationships. I never thought I would be here. I never thought I'd be with somebody who is so great, who I can just be myself with. And they feel comfortable just being themselves. There's nothing required here. It's just a great relationship. So I just feel very fortunate. And I knew once I got through this process that I wanted to help other people because I wish I'd had some help. I wish it hadn't taken me 6 years. Now I look back and I say, I'm thankful that it did because I learned so much in that process. And I if I hadn't gone through that whole thing myself, I wouldn't be as good at helping other people as I am. It's amazing how much better your life becomes, even if you're just doing it to make some minor little changes. That's fine. That's fine. But you're going to find that the ripple effects are amazing. Your whole life will be changed. And I've taken 6 years of my process, my personal process, and I've condensed it down to 6 months. And I've even condensed it further in that I'm offering a workshop now that is a 3.5 day intensive. I call it my Transform Your Life workshop. And I've done that over a 6 month, seven series of 7 workshops. But I've put this process down into an intense 3.5 days. And it's amazing. It's so powerful. That process will absolutely change your life. Now, I'm sure many of you have done the CDs or DVDs or motivational programs from one person or another, and you go through, or you've gone to a workshop and you're all psyched up and ready to go, and then what do I do now? What do I do now? How do I apply all of this stuff that I've just learned? And it's just overwhelming. Well, my 7-step process is so easy. It requires work, but it's so simple. There's simple things that you can do every day to keep yourself moving forward. What I've done is I've identified 7 steps that are, like I said, they're universal. They're universal. They work absolutely. If you put the time in. Now, if you just go through the motions, they're not going to work. Nothing's going to work if you just go through the motions. But if you are committed, if you have a true desire to create change in your life, and you commit to this process, I guarantee you it will change your life. It will change your life absolutely for the better. So, what are the steps? Step 1, know yourself. You got to get to know, who is this person in here? What is it that's of value to me? What gets me excited? What fires me up? What makes me tick? That's what you've got to know. And then you got to incorporate it into your life. Because if you're not doing what you love about life, if you're not participating in what you love, how are you ever going to have a great life? You have to put yourself first. Almost nobody out there is going to tell you that. Your family's not going to tell you that. They think, you got to put your family first. Of course they do. But how can you be the best parent? How can you be the best spouse? How can you be the best son, daughter? How can you be the best brother or sister? Anything if you are not first the best you. You got to put yourself first. Got to put yourself first. So know yourself. And then I'm just going to quickly go through the other steps here. Accept your life. That's number 2. Number 3, trust life. Number 4, live honestly. Number 5, live consciously. Number 6, share yourself. Final step, not an easy one. Love unconditionally. So those are the 7 steps. So again, my name is Pat Benage, Transformation Life Coach, TLC Coaching. I appreciate you being here. I appreciate you watching this and listening to me all the way through. I know it's kind of a long video. And I hope that you'll stay tuned for the next one, because the next video in this series, I've got 3 that I'm doing that are all free. And I hope that you'll stick around for the next one. We're just going to go into a little more depth of the 7 steps. And then in the third one, I will actually walk you through how to set up a program for yourself. I'll walk you through, how do I put this into practice? How do I apply these things? And so please join me. All you have to do is just sign up at the bottom of this video, and you'll receive the next 2 videos within the next 2 weeks. So thanks very much.